Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim, and our guest today is Matt. So Matt, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do.
Hi, I'm Matt deFouw. I'm the chairman of Matrix.fun. Matrix is a wonderful esports platform, and I'll tell you more about that probably during this talk. But I live in Canada, Western Canada to be specific, about 3.5 hours northeast of Vancouver, in a town called Kamloops. I was born and raised here and left, went away, and came back, and the whole family's here, proud father of 4, and yeah.
Awesome. So Matrix.funny, I'm curious more about that. Like, what is it exactly, and how did you get the idea for it?
So Matrix.fun is actually, so my son is our CEO. I was the CEO of every company I've started since I was his age. I'm a serial entrepreneur from about just after university, straight on. The last real, like in Canada, you have a T4. I don't know what it is in the States for being an employee with the IRS, but you get an employee notice. A W-9. So it's a T4 in Canada. Last time I had a T4, I think I was a lifeguard in university. So very serial entrepreneur, and yeah, always started software companies after doing computer science and chemistry. Yeah, love it. Matrix is an esports platform that is the intersection point between all these games you see nowadays, these AAA games, and the whole Web3 ecosystem. So we do have a completely Web 2 experience for esports where you don't have to play with token, but we do have that intersection point between Web 3 and video games. So if you look at the Venn diagram of people who are hardcore into video games and people who are hardcore into like meme coins and things like that, it's pretty much the same circle, right? So it's a good place to be.
Awesome. So where are people exactly playing the games? Like on their computers, on some sort of video game system? What does that look like?
So before we had a project called Moxie. And Moxie was a pretty decent success. We had 50,000 users. We had a bunch of games, but the games we had were a bunch of Web 2 games that were older because what Moxie did was had a full-on software stack that needed to be embedded into the game. So it was quite high friction, but a really rewarding experience once you got it in there. We decided to fix that. That's what Matrix does. So Matrix is a completely skill-based solution where we take the game stats from the existing game APIs, which allows us to get, like, we have League of Legends in process. We have Dota 2 totally done, PUBG totally done. We have chess.com and Lichess, the Chinese version of that. We have Brawl Stars, which allowed us to get those large games. So that's actually launching next month in February to a large audience in Southeast Asia.
So essentially, it's sort of like the Web3 version of these popular games for people all around the world.
Yeah, so what we do is we allow people to join tournaments that are decoupled from winning and losing. Of course, we can do the standard winning and losing like anyone can in esports.
Right.
But our differentiator is we make it fun for the person. So anyone in esports who's already winning their matches, they're already having a pretty darn good experience, right? You're having fun. You can join tournaments and win real dollars and things like that. But with Matrix, you can join something and, like, let's say you're a League of Legends player. League of Legends is a really fun game. I've been playing since before season 1, since the beta. And that game is one of those things where you love it and hate it because you just want to smash your keyboard and punch your monitor and all those things. But you might have the best game in the world and still lose. You could have the most CS. You could get all the objectives. You could have the highest KDA, all those things. You could be the most epic jungler. You know what I mean? And you still lose because of your teammates or something happens or whatever. So with Matrix, you could have first top tower Garen challenge. You could have a highest CS at 20 minutes challenge. You could have most kills with Nocturne, highest assists with Lux. All these great things that are completely decoupled from winning and losing that actually mean a lot to the player. That means a lot to the player, right? And you can flex on your friends and be like, yeah, bro, I totally sucked and lost the last 20 games, but did you see how much I won on Matrix? It's crazy.
That's awesome. So, I mean, it's kind of interesting too, because you were talking about just how you have people all around the world. So how do you kind of like manage, players? And because there's, obviously Asia is very different languages, different culture, right? So how do you kind of, go to those markets overseas?
The beautiful thing is English still is the language of video games and movies and popular culture. So that does take a lot of our barrier to entry out. And like I was saying, because we're stats based, this is the first time someone in Russia can play someone in Brazil, can play someone in Switzerland, all in the same tournament at the same time. That's like impossible for any other normal esports, right? Ping, jurisdiction, IP address, all those things come into play. Like try to join the Korean server. Can't. You have to have a Korean national ID card, right? So for us, having these tournaments based on skill and based on you connecting your Riot account by SSO for League of Legends, or your Steam account for Dota or PUBG, or your Supercell ID for Brawl Stars, now you can play with essentially anyone in the world, totally independent of ping, totally independent of server and region and all those good things, and have a really rewarding experience. Because now it's like, oh, if it's CS2, it's highest headshot accuracy with the AK-47 on Dust 2 competitive, right? Or, most kills with Molotov or the Incendiary, all those cool things. So you can reward grinders. You can reward people that are very selective with their time and only want to play like the best 3 matches they can play. Or you could reward the guy who's like, dude, I'm going to play 2,000 hours of Fortnite this year, and I want to have like the most hours played kind of challenge. We could do all of that.
So in terms of getting like the word out there, right? Because you mentioned that there's no barrier. People can be in any country. English is not a problem. How have you kind of gone about growing this business and getting in front of more people in these different countries?
So one of the other things that we've tried to solve with this product is, how do you monetize the attention economy? The attention economy, like, look at everyone freaked out about this whole TikTok being off for half a day. The attention economy is a big deal now. There's a lot of people generating a lot of revenue for themselves. They have a lot of influence on people. They have very significant communities, and they're stuck in this rut of like, here are the A, B, C, you can open those doors to generate revenue for themselves. And the thing about those door A, B, C, a lot of them are kind of yucky, right? Who wants to do the super fan tipping on Twitch? Who wants to do the subscription, like, pay me to be my friend? Like, that's just weird, right? But if you could say, hey, come join me on this game, and because I am the influencer and I have this kind of clout, I can go talk to Adidas, or I can go talk to Red Bull as an influencer with a 2 million person strong community, and be like, hey, do you want to put up 10 grand for my tournament? I'm going to be running it on this platform with this really great AAA game. It's not weird. It's totally a known quantity. And you can help monetize your community by taking part of those fees and providing a really rewarding experience for your existing community. Like, hey, bro, we're giving away a year's worth of Red Bull and $2,000 to the winner, right? Like, that's pretty cool. And someone like Red Bull, with the partners that we have in Southeast Asia and Japan, we have a partner called Metadomo. And what Metadomo does is they allow direct point of sale integration and rewards points integration. So our integration with them allows us to have, like, they have 90% plus of the Japanese market already. So we could do things like Chicken Sandwich Monday with KFC and drop real chicken sandwiches to players as they're playing the game. And they literally walk over and tap their phone at a KFC in Japan, and boom, they got a chicken sandwich for free. Like, completely frictionless Web 2 experience, even though there's a lot of Web 3 underpinnings to keep everything safe and reliable. So that's a really interesting thing for now large advertisers and sponsors, because it's the whole, what is Tesla? Is Tesla a car company, or is it a data company, right? So we can provide them metrics that are obviously the whole privacy standards. We're not going to say, oh, it's Joe Smith who's 25 with the SIN number in Canada, right? We're not going to do that, but we could tell them X amount of males that live in this area, they all decided to win. They all won at this time, but they all redeemed at these different times, and they redeemed at these locations. So you can really start gaining huge insight, instead of just, the billboard strategy of just spray some money and hopefully it sticks somewhere. Marketing and advertising model, you can be extremely smart, because the thing about video game players is, yes, they're fickle, and yes, they'll turn on you, but when they're loyal, they are the most loyal people in the world. Who, other than video game people, will like have a minimum wage job? They spend half that money a year going to some Comic-Con, and they build a cool costume and they want to show it off. Like, the level of consumer loyalty is off the charts with video game players. So advertisers know this. They are obviously not in a position to be directly in front of a video game player all the time in a meaningful way, because there's a lot of sentiment out there. Like, if you've seen on Reddit or anything like that, video game players, like, if I see one more ad from company XYZ on my YouTube again, I'm literally never buying anything from them again, just because I hate seeing their ads, right? So that's a really hard market to market to. But it's like, hey, I love chicken sandwiches. I just got one. I can go redeem it. Or my girlfriend's like, you shouldn't eat so much fried food. Let's go have an iced coffee instead. Through our partner Metadomo, we can flop that right over and be like, oh, we've said $6 value. So we're going to flop it over and you pay an extra $4. And now you've got two iced coffees at Starbucks and your girlfriend's super happy, right? It's really, really interesting paradigm. We're taking a lot of very interesting parts of this economy and blending them all together. So it's really rewarding for the gamer first, the people with those large communities. That's to answer your initial question. To get this, we are going to leverage the power of people who already have these communities. So whether that's an esports guild, an esports team, an influencer, a KOL, a large brand, like one of the people we're talking to right now is a telco in Southeast Asia with a captive audience. So huge amounts. And then the other side is you have these meme coins, right? Trump coin showed the world that meme coins are a real thing. So it's relegated to degens on Pump Fun and things like that before. But Trump coin kind of like woke up the sleeping giants of Vanguard and BlackRock and all those guys like, what the heck? You can generate $80 billion FDV in a day based on one tweet. Okay, sounds cool, right? So that's with what we're doing as well. I think it's our main focus, but I want to make sure I give you the underpinnings on the actual like Web2 business side of things first.
For sure. So in terms of actually like getting in front of these people, I'm always curious about these things. Like obviously if somebody has millions of followers, it can be hard to get in front of them. So have you met them at a conference? Have you just reached out to them, DMs? How have you kind of gone about, even having conversations with people at that scale?
One thing we've been extremely blessed with is network. We have an amazing network. Like our business partner who's in the project every day is Nolan Bushnell of Atari, founder, like literally creator of the bloody video game industry. Right?
Wow.
We have our CFO as the ex-CFO of UBS Bank in Switzerland, who's the CFO of Global Treasury. We have the ex-Activision CEO out of Europe on our advisory. We have the guys from Changely and things like that in the Web3 space. We have really excellent network. So our new CMO, Yuki, has just crazy network too. She has a network that I only wish I could have. So she's getting us in on the Asian side, which allows us to really capture that attention that we would never be able to get. So we've been really blessed that way. It's just been a pure network effect for us on that side to gain the attention attraction.
That's amazing. So I guess speaking of network and goals, right? Obviously now we're in a new year, 2025. So what are some of your biggest goals for this year?
Well, obviously the launch. So next month, full product launch. We're trying to launch with that telco. That's what we're waiting for right now is just all the testing and back-end integration to ensure that that's going to work out because that's a 40 million plus user base. We have in Thailand several other large user bases that are in the esports space that we can really help them monetize and ease their current workload because it's very labor intensive and we can automate a lot of that. And then the meme coin side of things. So you have a bunch of people who have these meme coins. The primary aspect of what we're doing with the Matrix token is using it as the primary driver within our ecosystem to allow everyone. So our tagline is any token, any game, and you can win based on that, right? So you can have like a Pepe tournament with 1 million Pepe on the line. People can join either for free or they can pay an entry fee or whatever it is. And it's in the token that tournament's based on. So if you're a token holder on Matrix, you can have the ability to pull all of that together, boost those tournaments, lock your token. And every time a tournament happens on our platform fees for community tokens go straight to our token holders. So imagine like on Pump Fun or whatever, you're on Pump Fun, you're like, oh man, there's just, it's a sea of noise. Which one? One of them is going to hit. Which one is going to be?
Right.
You don't know, right? Would it be nice to just stake something and then just get a piece of all of those different projects as an airdrop? So we have a claim portal. Every time a tournament happens, your balance of that token increases until you want to withdraw it. So it's very, 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 very engaging for people who you can play games, of course, on our system. But if you don't want to play games and you more want to just sit back and help, so when you boost based on your stake token, you're actually helping that tournament hit our socials. A boosted tournament will go to our socials. It'll be listed higher on our search results. It's like a king of the hill kind of thing. So the top the most boosted tournament will be the one that we push the most. And it's usually the one with the most rewards attached to it. So, and in the process of that boosting, you receive the boosting rewards that come out of that as an aggregate pool of all the other people who boosted. So it's super degen. It allows people to gain tokens that they never would have been exposed to, because we can accept contract addresses on Ethereum, Solana, whatever, all of the main L1s. And yeah, communities with large token holders can come and say, hey, we're going to do a Mudang token, we're a Mudang community tournament. We're going to do a whatever, right? Sundog tournament. And it's really engaging for people, because now you got real utility for this thing that's a pure meme token before, but now you can use it as like the prize in a really fun, engaging, like it could be a chess tournament, it could be a Mahjong tournament, it could be League of Legends, it could be anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm super exciting. So on that note, just to wrap, right, I mean, you've been an entrepreneur for some time, right? And you were saying how, you started several companies. If you could go back in time to before you got started, what is the one biggest piece of advice that you wish you knew?
It just goes back to like classic old school, like university and high school. It's just be really diligent, be really organized. Don't take those things that, seem really curmudgeon-y and boring at the time. Do those things. Just do it. It's like working out or anything else. You just got to do it. It's just one foot in front of the other. You got to do the hard things and everything becomes easy. But if you always focus on what seems to be the easiest thing in the series of events, not going to go well. Right.
That's good advice. And awesome. So yeah, if somebody's watching this and if they want to reach out to you, Matt, what's the best way for them to find your business or to reach out to you directly?
You can go at matrix.fun. There's a contact us section there, and you can get on our LinkedIn. My LinkedIn is totally public. Nolan's LinkedIn is also public. So super exciting.
Awesome. Well, Matt, thanks so much for your time today.
You bet. All the best. Really nice to talk to you.
Likewise. Thank you.